A janitor was eating lunch when a man accidentally kicked him to the ground. The angry man tossed him a freshly bought lottery ticket out of frustration. But when the janitor picked it up, he was shocked to discover the ticket had won a billion-yuan jackpot. Without hesitation, he rushed to the lottery office to claim the prize. The store owner took one look at his shabby clothes and assumed he'd only won a few hundred yuan. But the moment he checked the winning numbers, he was stunned to realize the ticket was worth a full billion yuan. Seeing his reaction, the man quickly snatched the ticket back. Now he could finally buy a house for his son. Overnight, the janitor became wealthy and immediately quit his job. He packed some gifts and went to visit his daughter-in-law. But the moment she opened the door and saw him in his old clothes, she became furious. She asked if he had knocked on the wrong door because they didn't have any poor relatives. The man, realizing it was his daughter-in-law, smiled and said he was her future father-in-law. He even pulled out a bag of farm eggs to give her some nutrition. But she shoved them to the floor in disgust, saying he was just a dirty janitor from the countryside. She accused him of trying to move in right after their recent wedding. Hearing the commotion, his son rushed over. The father thought they would finally reunite and he'd be welcomed inside. But to his surprise, the daughter-in-law warned her husband that she'd divorce him on the spot if he dared let his father stay. The son knew the truth. He was just a live-in son-in-law with no say. All he could do was helplessly ask his father to leave. The father understood his son's position and tried to tell him about the lottery win. He bent down and pulled out 500,000 yuan in cash to help with the down payment for a house. But the son didn't even glance at the money. He pushed his father away without giving him a chance to explain and quickly sent him off. The moment the son walked back inside, his wife slapped him hard. She called him useless for not even being able to buy a house and accused him of planning to use her money to support a filthy old janitor. Unbeknownst to them, the father had heard everything. Realizing his son couldn't hold his head up in his own home, he silently vowed to buy his son a proper house. As he searched for a real estate office, a kind woman gave him directions. But the next second, she collapsed in pain. The man immediately rushed to help. Following her instructions, he took medicine from her bag and carefully helped her take it. After making sure she was okay, he quietly walked away, unaware that his figure had left a deep impression on the woman. He had no idea that the woman he casually saved was actually someone important. Meanwhile, he arrived at a real estate center and without hesitation, paid in full for the most expensive villa. The manager, realizing he was a big client, quickly arranged a welcome ceremony and prepared the paperwork. At the same time, his daughter-in-law's family arrived at the same office. Seeing the grand welcome, they didn't know what was going on until a colleague whispered that a wealthy client had bought the top-tier villa and warned her not to offend him. Suddenly, the father saw his son. He wanted to share the news about the house, but the daughter-in-law assumed he had come to find out their new address so he could freeload. She sternly told her husband to kick him out. Even her parents mocked the man, saying people like him weren't even worthy of walking through the front door. She ordered him to leave so they wouldn't lose face. But the man calmly said he was just here to pick up his property certificate. The manager was already preparing it for him. No one believed him. They couldn't imagine that an old janitor could